Access Pipeline is proposed to transport crude oil from North Dakota Basin region into South Dakota and Iowa. So the route was designed to transport crude in the safest and most efficient way possible. It is a 1,172-mile long underground oil pipeline in the United States. The pipeline is currently under construction by OCC. On November 26, 2016, the project was reported to be 87% completed. The pipeline could be proven to be safer than rail or truck transportation of crude, as it transports 450,000 barrels of oil per day. There are 4 ways the Dakota Access Pipeline could be stopped. First, Standing Rock wins in court. Second, the federal government cancels or stops the project. Third, reroutes could endanger the project's financial flexibility. Fourth, Iowa landowners win in court.
These are the pros of the Dakota Access Pipeline. 1. Construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline will help the economy and create thousands of jobs. Building the pipeline is expected to create 8,000 to 12,000 new jobs and pump money into industries that manufacture steel pipes and other related materials. Moving oil by pipeline instead of railroad will ease transportation shortages for other major regional industries, including agriculture. 2. Construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline will help the United States to become more energy independent. Reducing oil imports from the Middle East, Russia, and elsewhere lowers U.S. dependence on foreign energy, which in turn bolsters national security and creates leverage to push for human rights improvements in oil-producing nations. The pipeline is considered a big step in that direction. 3. The Dakota Access Pipeline will make transporting oil from North Dakota to major refining markets safer, more cost-effective, and more environmentally friendly. A review of the U.S. Department of Transportation statistics proved that pipelines result in fewer spillage incidents and personal injuries than road and rail, according to the Manhattan Institute. Pipelines reduce transportation costs by $5 to $10 per barrel of oil and have a lower carbon footprint than trains or trucks.
These are the cons for the Dakota Access Pipeline. It threatens the water supply of the Standing Rock Sioux and millions of people downstream. The Dakota Access Pipeline was originally slated to cross under the Missouri River north of Bismarck. The state's capital, a pipeline spill would imperil the drinking water of not just the Standing Rock tribe, but also millions of people downstream.
The Dakota Access Pipeline is being built on sacred land guaranteed to the Osage-Sakowin by treaty. Under the 1851 Treaty of the Fort Laramie, the land that the pipeline is being built on still is unceded, and the sovereign territory of the Osage-Sakowin. Construction of the pipeline has already damaged sacred burial sites and other cultural significant areas. 3. The Dakota Access Pipeline will worsen climate change by pumping hundreds of thousands of gallons of shale oil to market daily. If completed, the DAPL would carry 470,000 to 570,000 barrels of bacon shale oil to market. The extracted oil, once processed, transported, and burned, would release 101.4 million metric tons of CO2 each year. This is the equivalent of the emissions from 29.5 coal plants to 21.4 million cars per year.
Months of protests from Native Americans and environmental activists, construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline will stop.
It's a tremendous victory for Standing Rock, for the Aceti-Sakowin, for the countless tribal nations, indigenous communities, and millions of Americans and people across the world who hit the streets in support of Standing Rock.
The company building the pipeline was waiting for a permit on the very last section, which would have crossed the Missouri River just north of the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. Instead of granting the permit, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says it will find an alternate route for the pipeline. For months, Native Americans and environmental activists have protested, arguing the pipeline poses an environmental hazard.
The Missouri River is the only water supply for the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. That gets contaminated. They don't have a water supply.
The company building the pipeline said it would be safer than sending oil via trucks or trains.
This pipeline is being built to safety standards that far exceed what the government requires us to do.
With the increase in U.S. oil production, oil pipeline leaks are up 60% since 2009.
Sunoco Logistics spills more crude than any of its competitors. 200 oil leaks in the last 6 years. doesn't that safety record indicate that the concerns of the Standing Rock tribe ought to be listened to?
Many